I gave him everything, my time, my trust, my soul, and he left without a trace. I'm Ayla. I'm 29 years old, a writer, living in a small city that doesn't know how to quiet the noise in my head. But it's okay now. I've learned how to silence it. Or at least, I'm trying to. I never thought I'd be sitting here telling you this story, but here I am. I have to tell it. Not because I want sympathy, but because I need to make sense of what happened, what I lost, what he took from me. Maybe someone out there needs to hear it too. Maybe someone out there has felt this same weight, because let me tell you, it's the heaviest thing I've ever carried. It started like a fairy tale. A love story I thought I would tell for the rest of my life. But in the end, it was just another story of broken promises, unspoken lies, and a man who vanished without a trace. 3 years ago, I was in a different place. I had just ended an engagement, a relationship that I thought would last forever. I spent too much time questioning what went wrong. I started doubting myself. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I wasn't the woman he needed. Maybe I couldn't give him what he wanted. I was lonely. I wanted love, the real kind, the kind that makes you feel seen and safe, but I didn't know how to find it. And then one day I met him, Darian. He was charismatic, mysterious, and sweet. I met him at a bookstore cafe, a place I loved to escape to when I needed quiet. He was sitting there, reading a book, his eyes focused on the pages, but when he looked up, I felt like time stopped. There was something about him that drew me in, something magnetic, something that made my heart race before I even spoke a word to him. Our first conversation felt different. It wasn't just small talk. We talked about life, about books, about dreams and fears. It was deep. It was real. His words felt like they mattered, like they meant something. I hadn't felt that kind of connection in so long. The more we talked, the more I found myself opening up. I told him about my failed engagement, about my loneliness, about my fear of never being enough. And he listened. He listened like he actually cared. That was the moment I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is what I've been waiting for. But the truth, it was too good to be true. Everything moved so fast after that. He moved in after 3 months. I let him into my life, my home, my heart. I introduced him to my friends and family. They loved him. How could they not? He was charming, attentive, always cooking me dinner, always surprising me with little thoughtful gestures. I had never felt so loved, so wanted, so special. He moved, but there were things about him that didn't add up. He'd say things about his past, but never really explain. He'd brush off any questions about his family or his childhood. He told me it was a rough past, and I believed him. I trusted him. He was perfect in every way. At least that's what I wanted to believe. I started noticing things. Little things. He never posted about me online. Never shared pictures of us together. We didn't do video calls with my family or friends. It felt like he was hiding me. Like there was something he didn't want anyone to know. But I ignored it. I didn't want to believe that the man who made me feel so loved could be hiding something from me. The first lies were small. Barely noticeable at first. He'd say he was working late, but I'd hear strange background noises, voices, music, laughter. I'd ask him about it, and he'd tell me I was just being paranoid. He even started telling me little white lies, and I let them slide because I trusted him. Then one day, I found something that shook me to my core. An unopened letter. It was marked "Do Not Return," and it was addressed to him from a woman. My heart stopped. I didn't want to open it, but I did. And when I read it, I felt sick. That's when the doubts began creeping in. The small signs that things weren't right. He started becoming emotionally distant, shutting me out after phone calls, disappearing for hours without a word. I confronted him. "Darian, what's going on?" And he said the words that would haunt me for months. "You're just insecure, baby. You're overthinking things." But then he told me a story about his mother, a tragic tale that made me feel guilty for even doubting him. I wanted to believe him. I needed to believe him. But the truth was that the man I loved was changing before my eyes, and I kept pretending he wasn't. Then one morning it happened. I woke up alone. I thought he'd just gone for a walk or out for coffee. But hours passed. No call, no text, nothing. That's when the dread began to settle in. I went to the bathroom. His toothbrush was gone. His clothes were gone. His shoes by the door. Gone. It was like he had never been there. I called him. His phone was switched off. I checked his social media. Nothing. It was like he had disappeared from the internet too. I called his friend that he always mentioned, but the number didn't exist. I tried calling his job, the one he claimed to work at. They told me they'd never heard of him. My stomach dropped. I couldn't breathe. I went to his apartment, the one he had told me was his old address. No record of him ever living there. Nothing. It was all a lie. Then I checked our bank account. The last activity? A 3 a.m. withdrawal. He had taken everything he could. And just like that, he was gone. I searched, I hired a private investigator, I needed answers, I had to find him, I needed to know why would he leave, why would he do this? But the answers didn't come easy. What I found broke me further. Darian had other women, 2 of them. Different names, different lives. One of them had a child. He'd disappeared on her too. I spiraled. I quit writing. I stopped talking to my friends. I isolated myself, consumed by the heartbreak, the shame. There were moments where I wondered if it was all my fault. Maybe I wasn't good enough. Maybe I had smothered him. Maybe I had pushed him away without even knowing it. I sank deeper and deeper until one night I almost didn't make it. The pain was too much, but something inside me refused to give up. I survived. And when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I started writing again. The pain turned into pages. And that's when I made a promise to myself. If I couldn't find him, I would find me again. Eventually, the investigator found him, in another city, dating a new woman, under a new name. I confronted him, right in front of her, the new woman. She looked at me like I was crazy, but I didn't care. Darian, he was cold. You meant nothing. I do what I need to survive. That's when the truth hit me. He was broken. But I wasn't his fixer. I wasn't the one who could fix what was wrong with him. I didn't cry, I didn't shout, I just walked away. And in that moment I realized something. I stopped wanting revenge. What I needed was rebirth. I started therapy. Slowly I began to reconnect with my friends, my family. I picked up the pieces of my life and started rebuilding. I joined a support group. I started writing a book based on everything I had been through. I rediscovered the simple joys, sunsets, tea, rain. I made new memories, ones that didn't involve him. And then one day I got a letter. It was from one of Darian's exes. She thanked me. She thanked me for exposing him, for showing the world who he really was. And for the first time I felt my worth return. I wrote a letter, not to Darian, not to the man who had hurt me, lied to me, disappeared without a trace. I wrote it to myself. You gave everything, you got nothing in return, but you're still here, and you're not broken, you're not empty. I forgave myself for loving him blindly, for giving him everything. Now, I'm standing here at my book launch event. I've taken my pain and turned it into purpose. He vanished like a ghost, but I became fire.